Hi, this is Miss Rose back with you today, multiplying and dividing integers. So yesterday we had worked on adding and subtracting integers, which is actually, I think, harder than what we're going to be doing today. When you're multiplying and dividing with these negative numbers, you solve as you normally would. So 5 times 2 is 10. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So you would solve your computation normally. The trick comes in putting the correct sign on the answer. So just like yesterday, we had decided signs same means positive and signs different means negative. Same thing today. If the two signs on your numbers are the same, meaning they are both negative or they are both positive, then your answer is going to be positive. But if the signs are different, meaning one is a negative and one is a positive, the answer will be a negative. For example, looking down here, I've got negative 5 times 2. That would be a positive 2 since it has no sign. So negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. You could also think negative 5 happened 2 times. So negative 5 and another negative 5 makes negative 10. But negative 5 times negative 2, those two negatives actually cancel out and make a positive. So that would actually be positive 10. So just like normal 5 times 2 is 10, negative 5 times negative 2 is also positive 10. So we're going to do a couple practice problems here today. And these are going to incorporate also what we did yesterday. So we do have some addition and subtraction problems thrown in here just to make sure you know what you are doing. So looking at the first problem, let's first look at our sign. It's a multiplication problem. So I'm just going to go ahead and multiply 5 times 3, and I get 15. So I just need to ask myself, are the signs the same or are the signs on the numbers different? I've got one negative number, and this 3, even though it doesn't show it, is a positive 3 because if it doesn't have a sign, it's automatically positive. So I've got one negative, one positive. That's two different signs, meaning the answer will be a negative. Okay, so now we're going to go to this next problem on the right. So I've got 4 times 6. 4 times 6 is 24. But this time, the two signs are the same. So I've got a negative times another negative. And two negatives make a positive. So those are going to go together to make positive 24. Okay, going on to our next problem here. And this one is not a multiplication or division problem. It's actually a subtraction problem, which is something we looked at yesterday. And so anytime we see a subtraction sign by another subtraction sign, so I'm taking away a negative, that actually becomes addition or becomes a positive. So now I've got 4 plus 6, positive 4 plus positive 6. That's the same sign. So those get added together and I get 10. That's positive 10 if I want to put the sign, or I don't have to because it's a positive. Automatically does not need the sign. It would automatically be positive. So next one is a subtraction problem. So I check my signs first. I've got one positive number and one negative number. That's different signs. Different signs I'm going to subtract. So 9 minus 3 is 6. And I keep the sign of the larger number, which was the 9, so it's going to be a negative 6. Looking at the next one, we've got a division problem here. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. Now when choosing the sign on these, since the sign is the same, they are going to cancel each other out and it's going to become a positive. Now this might be a little confusing for you because if I had negative 10 minus 2, then the answer would be negative. But on these multiplication and division ones, if the sign is the same, it's positive, and if the signs are different, it's negative, instead of them combining together to make the same thing. Okay, so going on to the next one, I've got adding a negative, and when I have a plus and a minus right beside each other, adding a negative, that becomes a minus, because if I add something negative, it's actually negative. So now I've got negative 12, negative 5, same sign, so I add those together, and I get 17, and they're both negative, so negative 12 plus negative 5 makes a total of negative 17. Okay, going to the next one. Two subtraction signs, that's the same sign, so I'm going to add them. Negative 8 plus negative 4 is a total of negative 12. Going on to the next one. So this is a division problem. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. And then I've got to look, same sign, would be positive, different signs would be negative. So this is a negative, but this one's actually a positive. So that's two different signs, meaning the answer will be negative. Okay, and then this last one, I've got 11 times 3, that's 33. Then I'm going to look at my signs here. Okay, one of them is a negative, and the other one is actually a positive. So that's two different signs, so my answer would be negative. Okay, so it might be a little confusing because now that we're combining what we did yesterday and what we did today, it's a few more rules to juggle. But the more you practice, the better you will get.